Hello, in this tutorial, we will learn how to make this heart and diamond and turning the diamond into a ring. In follow-up videos, I will show you how to turn the heart into earrings and bracelet. First, welcome to my channel, Ilani Creations. My name is Wendy. I will be providing information on the materials and tools in the description, so please be sure to check that. We will be using Superduo beads to make the heart and diamond, and I like to use Miyuki brand or KO brand thread. And depending on the color of your beads, you want to use different colored threads. For example, I use a white thread for this turquoise bead, and black thread for this blue and pink bead. For this tutorial, I will be using royal blue beads and matching it with black threads. We'll need 2 big eye needles. We will start by placing each end of the thread through a big eye needle. I am using about 12 inches of thread to make the heart. To make this heart, we'll actually go backwards. We will actually start from the bottom and then to the top. We will start by adding 1 bead to the middle of the thread. Next, we will add another bead, and then we will put the needle through the second hole of the first bead. Next, we will add a 3rd bead to the needle. Next, we want to put the other end of the thread through these 3 beads from the opposite side. So basically, we have the thread going through these beads twice, but from opposite sides. Now we'll pull the needles through from both sides to tighten the thread. Okay, I zoomed out here to show you how the thread won't be even on both sides. So you'll want to just pull the beads over until the thread is even on both sides. The next 2 layers of the heart will be similar. We're going to start by adding 1 bead. And then we'll put the needle through the second hole of this first bead here. And then we'll add another bead to the needle. And then we'll put the needle through the second hole of the next bead. And then we'll add 1 more bead to the needle. And just like before, we'll put the other end of the thread through these beads. So with the thread going through these beads twice again from opposite sides. And pull the needles to tighten the thread. Now you don't have to do it so awkwardly. Normally I don't lay it flat and do this. You can hold on to the beads and do this instead. Alright, this next row is very similar. We are going to add a bead and then put the needle through the first bead here. And then we are going to add another bead. And then we will put the needle through the next bead. We will add another bead. And then we will put the needle through the next bead. We will add 1 more bead to this row, and then we will put the other end of the thread through these beads again, and then pull the needles to tighten the thread. As you can see, we are almost done with the heart. We just need to add 2 more beads to finish the heart. We are going to work on one side at a time. We are going to put the needle through the first bead on the right hand side. Add a bead to the needle and then put the needle through the next bead. Pull the needle to tighten the thread and then run the needle and thread through these 3 beads again to enforce it. Next, we'll repeat these steps on the other side. We will put the needle through the first bead on the left hand side, and then add a bead, and then put the needle through the next bead. We have completed the heart. Now I will bring the thread to the middle so that I can tie a knot and then hide the thread. I am taking each needle and putting it through the middle bead, 1 on each side. Now both threads are in the middle of the heart, so I can double knot them together. I'm going to knot the threads one more time. After this, I will run the thread through a couple of beads before cutting it off. This part is a little bit hard because it's kind of tight, so you'll have to put some force. Once you are done with one side, repeat on the other side. Alright, I've brought both threads to the side of the heart, so I will cut it off now. When cutting it off, make sure you are pulling tight on the thread so there's no extra thread. We have completed the heart. Next, we will make the diamond. If you are only making the diamond, then you only need about 10 inches of thread. But if you want to turn it into a ring, then cut about 14 inches of thread. The first few steps are the same as the heart. We start by adding a bead to the middle of the thread. Then we add a bead to the needle and we put the needle through the second hole of the first bead. And then we add another bead to the needle. Now we will put the other end of the thread through the beads, running the thread through the beads twice but from opposite ends. Next, we will pull the needles and tighten the thread. For the next layer, we will start by adding a bead to the needle and then putting the needle through the first bead. Add a turquoise bead. The color of this bead is up to you. If you want the middle to be different, then you want to add a different color, but if you want it to be all the same color, you can just add another white bead. Now I'm putting the needle through the next bead, and then we will add one more bead. Just like before, I am putting the other needle through the beads, putting the thread through the beads from both sides. And here we'll pull the needle and tighten the threads again. The next section is similar to the top where it's going to be 2 beads and then 1 bead. So instead of adding 1 bead here, we will just put the needle and thread through the second hole of this bead. Now we will add a bead and then we will put the needle through the turquoise bead. We will add one more bead and then put the needle through the last bead on this row. Just like before, I am putting the other needle through the beads, putting the thread through the beads from both sides. Once again, we'll pull the needles and tighten the thread. For the last row, we will take the needle from the right hand side and put it through the first bead. We'll add a bead and then we'll put the needle through the second bead. And now we will take the other needle and put it through these 3 beads, bringing it to the other side. Now we will run both needles through the top bead. This pretty much completes the diamond. If you're only making the diamond, you can tie the knots and hide the thread like what we did with the heart. To turn it into a ring, we'll add beads to the thread. To make the ring, I will be using the Succulent mix from thebeadmix.com. I'm using size 11 Miyuki beads, but you can use size 8 also. We will start by putting both threads through the same needle. I am adding beads to the needle so that it will go through both threads. I am just going to keep adding beads until it is the right size for my finger. Okay, it looks like I added the right amount of beads, so I will finish it off. Start by removing the thread from the needle and then bringing the thread to the other side of the diamond. Put each thread through the top bead from opposite sides. The threads are basically crisscrossing through this top bead here. I am going to put it through my finger one more time to make sure it fits. Next, I will bring the threads to the middle using a needle and then I will tie it a couple of times. Here I am double knotting the thread. I'm going to tie one more knot. Now I'm running the thread through a couple of beads before cutting it off, just like what I did with the heart. Remember to pull tight when you're cutting off the thread. I will be uploading a video on how to make a bangle bracelet using the heart and diamond, and also different earring styles using the heart, so please be sure to check those out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!